Okay, it is Monday. We are live. We have a white canvas in front of us. Um, so it's December 1st. I don't normally do holiday specifically themed projects. However, I've gotten the painting portion of gifts completed. So, um, I wasn't sure what the heck we were going to do today. I was torn between a Bob Ross gouache or just finding something to paint off of Unsplash that wasn't necessarily holiday themed. But we're going to attempt to do a holiday flamingo. Attempt being the key word here. Um I don't draw flamingos very often, even though I do enjoy them. Um I usually enjoy them a great deal more when other people have painted them instead of my own. But we're gonna try. We're gonna try. So we're gonna start out sketching um together, I guess. Not entirely sure how this is gonna go. Oh, 1 second. Sorry about that. So it's kind of like a long-necked pink swan, I guess, in terms of body shape. Kind of like a football. What are you doing? Are you chasing something nobody can see, Mr. Bean?
He's been freaking out ever since I went and did the laser pointer and made it vanish.
There's a couple tiny little like stink flies hanging around too, so I would not be surprised if he saw one of those. Hi, Bean. No, 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 no.
Mr. Beans.
Mr. Beans, those are my toes.
Mr. Beans.
Brat. Hey, no nails, no nails, no nails. Mr. Bean. Fucker. Hey, no. I am like pulled all the way in up against my desk too, so I can't really get him to get to him to remove him. I don't know why they call them dustless erasers, because they still leave shit behind. We're in frame, right? Kind of, sort of. Good enough. I'm not sure if I want more like a walking pose or that just looks bad. Alright, maybe we just stick with the walking pose where our legs are slightly separated here. Is that too steep? That's probably good enough, right? I'm just gonna grab the kneaded eraser here. Just try to clean that up just a little. This is just a regular #2 pencil. There is nothing fancy about this pencil. You can do art with basic supplies. It is possible. You don't need the super fancy stuff. Does the super fancy stuff make things a little bit more easy? Yeah, and it depends on what you're doing. Like if you're doing specific like charcoal blending and all that, or specific pencil drawing where you kind of need the different shades and all. That's a little steep though. Not quite happy with the positioning of that. Like depending on what you're doing. For what we're doing, we do not need anything too fancy or specific. I mean, technically, we don't even really need the kneaded eraser, but it does make things a little bit easier. And these aren't that expensive. Some places you can find them for $1, or at least you used to be able to. I don't know what they're priced at now, but I haven't bought a new one specifically by itself. In a while. Mr. Bean has decided to go and bother somebody else now. My demonic void child. Like I do very little sketching. We're usually just kind of going for it. or it's just taken me that long to get through some sketches. So this particular box of pencils I'd gotten from Dollar Tree when they were still $1.25. And I think this is the only one I've used so far. So I can do stuff without the help of stencils and transferring photos. It's just it makes life a little bit easier with some things, especially when it's stuff I don't normally attempt to draw. We actually woke up to really gray skies here this morning. I actually thought it was raining when I woke up. Apparently, we have been having a wintry mix fest this morning. They kept saying like we might get something minimal, but it doesn't take much freezing rain to cause problems. So I think the one weather guy was just kind of downplaying stuff because he wasn't sure. But apparently, there's been multiple accidents on the interstate on 49 and stuff. So if you are heading out there in the northwest Arkansas area, please be careful. Give yourself some extra time. Slow the frig down. Don't need to be speed demon in this weather, in these hills, in the different elevations. Just come on, give it a rest for a day. I need a points of like none of my, there we go. See, none of my flamingos on my desk were looking right. The one really just looks like a swan statue that they recolored pink. It doesn't have the white coming up on its eyeball or anything. Are we perfect? Hell no. We're not perfect. But we're trying. And that's the important part. right? Don't know if these lines are gonna stay. They may not. Probably won't. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Right, so now I have to figure out the lights, which I am not gonna be very good at. Like that's not quite right. Not quite where I wanted that to be either. Actually, that square's a little off. So I don't know how long this is going to take us to paint in. Probably not terribly long. So if we finish this one, I don't know that we'll finish it today. If we do, then we can do another guy some next week. We'll see. Like, I don't know. You know what? Hang on. Let me redo that. Okay, I kind of have an idea of where I want that to go now. Okay, so I did not do any pre-sketching on this. We're making this up as we go. So if I bring this, maybe up and over that way, something like that. All right, so just gonna try to work in my cord here. It's a lot easier for me to figure this out in this stage. Now, do we want that over or under? That is the question. I think this one is gonna come under. Maybe we bring this one over. Let me bring that section over. And then this section we bring under. That graphite hand. Really probably should have at least a tissue or something here. Just to keep it to a minimum for the smearing. This is just a regular #2 pencil. It's not like an extra soft guy or anything. And I am being a little heavier handed in spots. Mostly so you guys can at least see the base sketch. I will come back in with that. I'll clean that up when I get around to that point. I'm just gonna stick you right there for now so I don't lose you. Where do I want this? Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the angle I want here. And it just helps me to have the little line guy in there. In an attempt to get the shapes right. Line guy's not necessarily staying there. In its current capacity. My bulbs are probably gonna all be different sizes. I just realized I am not very good at sizing these guys. So I think this one I'm gonna bring yeah, they're all different widths and lengths and all of it. Fabulous. Oh well. Hey, at least we can tell. Well, actually, I don't know. I mean, I would hope that this would pass the AI test. I mean, you guys see me drawing it. I would hope you could tell that this wasn't AI. They're like progressively getting smaller. Well, I never claimed to be good at it, did I? Here. So let's see. Put one here. So I'm like trying to make like a leaf shape, essentially. Which is why I kind of have that line in the middle. I'm trying to keep my cord from getting too silly. So I'm gonna take this one over top. Well, I'm gonna try to. We'll see how this actually comes out. And I've got like a dark blue that I'm gonna do the background in. So I wanted a bit more of a point for in this section. I know I keep switching off of what side of the line or what side the cord is touching or using that main sketch line. I know, it's a thing. Doesn't matter so much. There is ink or something on my eraser. I don't really wear jeans anymore, so I can't really clean it on them. I think I had a pen explode on my erasers at one point. That kneaded eraser just looked liquefied, and I don't know why. One of my kneaded erasers is like completely black. Probably should throw that one away, since I don't think I can do anything with it. Now, I've never really tried to paint anything that looks like it's glowing. So this should be interesting. Trial by fire, right? Okay. Let me take care of that real quick. Two messages. Oh, so one wasn't good enough. You tried to do it again. Moobot timed you out for 10 seconds on the first attempt, and you tried to do it a second time, and then Moobot's like, well, now you're timed out for 600 seconds. Aren't you a little darling? You can take yourself and that link you're trying to post and head straight to Santa's naughty list, because I'm done with you. Don't allow that nonsense. Moobot spoke, and you still didn't listen. Okay, that one went under up here. So I think this section, I'm gonna go over. And right in here it gets a little crazy. Fix that section. Oh. I got confused here. I got confused by my own lines. Alright, let me clear that up. Okay. This needs cleaned up a little bit. And I need to get it a little bit stiffer. So it'll actually attempt to pick something up here. Again, I don't know that I'm leaving all of these lines in there. Probably won't leave all of the lines on the wing. That sounded slippery. Oh man. That car sounded like it was skidding a little bit. Because they didn't treat these roads last night. Locally, their solution is we'll figure it out afterwards. A lot of the time. The road that we're on has some county maintenance on it, but not much. A lot of the maintenance on this road is left to our town. And there's a banked curve on this road, which makes for all sorts of interestingness in winter weather. Technically not even winter yet. Oh, that road sounded slushy. We had some grapple and some sleet and some freezing rain earlier. There goes that dog in that car again. I'm not even sure if it's currently doing it. It's just wet still. I can't really see. I know it's heckin' cold. Feel all the cold air seeping in through the glass because the windows in this house um, are not insulated at all. Alright, so I'm just trying to clean this up a little bit. Where I can. Or we come back in and start adding in some more lights here. I know my lights aren't evenly spaced. I don't care that much. They're on there. It's not like I'm trying to make this super, super accurate, right? We're just trying to have a little bit of fun because, like, all my lights are slightly leaning to one side or the other. It's me, and if you think anything is going to be straight, then you are new here. Okay, so this is going to be new season rolls over in Fallout 76 tomorrow. So I guess I'll be back to putting some time in on that. I had completed the last season and gotten everything that I really wanted out of it, so I kind of took some time off from playing it again. I'm not really sure what all the rewards are out of this season. I haven't really gone looking to see. So I'm not sure. I saw a couple of items previewed, but it wasn't the full list. Plus, there's a new section of content coming in. as well tomorrow, so they're gonna have some downtime for maintenance for sure. So I've got like a bunch of lights kind of clustered down here. Kind of the way that worked out. Wasn't originally planning on having quite this many lights, but it's fine. So if it's still holiday time when we finish this one, and this one's like not, or it shouldn't be overly complicated, we can do a wreath as well, like a painted wreath. Oh, I was gonna put the head on him, I forgot. Shit. Dang it. Forgot I wanted to put a hat on him. Not me complicating matters. Of course not. So let's get this one sketched into here. Actually, if I put the hat on, we might not be done in time to do the wreath. We will see. The wreath is just a backup plan. In case we have time, I do need to sharpen this guy. Kind of need a point for getting this in there. Been noticing my lights have been getting progressively smaller here. Okay. They are all definitely not shaped the same. And you know what? It's okay. Right? I remember growing up. Now, I grew up in the 80s. We had, and these were like kind of an old string of lights then, that we had a string of Christmas lights that had like these little flower bursts around them. So like the center was like your standard little Christmas light, like mini, like little tiny bulb. And then around it, we, not we, but it had like these little flower petals in plastic kind of coming off of the edges of it. Like it almost reminded me of like looking at the inside or the underside of a piece of popcorn that like bloomed outward. And of course, they were so old, some of the little flower petals had broken off of a couple of them, but I've not seen another set of lights quite like that. You know, the we had some ornaments where it was like a half, like it was a circle, it was like a ball, but it was cut in half, and then like the inside had some beading and like some different shapes to them and stuff. So why can't we have like differently sized and shaped Christmas lights? Like let's make it fun, right? As my husband says, is it really Christmas unless it looks like an elf threw up on everything? So he loves it being gaudy and over the top. And so next year we're going to get a set of colored lights to add to my pink lights on the tree. I'm like, well, do we need to take the pink ones off and get colored ones for you? And he goes, no, we're going to add it. I was like, all right. I was like, do we need to get a green tree next year? Because we currently have a white tree. And he's like, no, the white's fine. He goes, I'm okay with that. Bean has destroyed two of my flamingo ornaments. I mean, I'm a little bummed, but at the same time, they weren't super special. I think they were from Cracker Barrel. They had a feather boa tailpiece on the end, so it's like I'm not overly surprised. I kind of want to resize this one because this is like the biggest one, and it's weird because it's the biggest one. All right, that's a little better. Okay. All right, I am going to put that to the side. I'm going to take my kneaded eraser. Actually, do I want to stamp it? Maybe we stamp it. Like, I just want to pull off like the majority of the extra here. Just so it doesn't smear. When I come in with my wash layer. And hopefully I can get the wash layer light enough so I can still see my pencil lines through it. Because I did have a slight issue with the dog when we were working on that I was having trouble seeing where my pencil lines were. I mean, it's pulling some pencil up because I can see it. And this isn't the full kneaded eraser, I just pulled a piece of it off. I'm just trying to pull up some of the extra. So I want to be able to see my lines here. So I just have to like knead it a little bit. Okay, I think I've got most of it, or at least the worst of it. All right, so let me re-knead this guy. So my erasers are going to go back in my very... Yeah, maybe I need a new eraser bag. I don't know what happened to that one, because that looks like it absolutely melted. I mean, it could have kind of melted. I think we took that one with us when we went to Florida. Let me put my pencil back in there and my sharpener over there. All right, now I'm just gonna spritz my hands with a little bit of water just to try to get off any extra graphite, so I'm not redepositing it back on the piece after going through all that to remove it. All right. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to start out with the plate or a lid today, but I think we're going to start out with a lid. Holy fuck, it's cold in here. I'm freezing. I don't have any paper towels in here. I have our tissues right now. These canvases have been around for a minute. I think I got them last year. Alright, so just to try to tighten up the front, because the front was a little loose. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my red spice here. Actually, let me sit you up there so you're out of the way. I need my big cup of water. I need a fluffy. Well, I need someone that I can. You were a gesso brush. But so were you. We'll use you. Okay. Freezing. What is the temperature outside? Windows 11 says it is 30 degrees. The local TV station says it is 32 and feels like 28. Why can't it be this chilly in here in the summer? That would be delightful. I am freezing. Sorry, I wasn't sure where I wanted to put that. Alright. Very thin wash. Probably put way too much paint down for this. Probably way too much. Alright. So let us begin. Oh, that's... Is that not enough paint? Because that is beading. Did I get a little too cheap? Not necessarily cheap, but just a little too thin. Did I not? Okay. There was a fuzz there. I'm like, I thought I've removed you 3 times now. It's beading a little bit on the edges because I've got way more water than paint in there. No, I didn't realize it until I grabbed this canvas out, but the corner on this one is kind of messed up. I don't know if that was a weird gessoing accident or what. This was out of like a value pack of canvas. But since it was on the edge, I was like, well, I'll just put you on the bottom. It's probably fine. I don't really need to do the overlap here. In fact, I think that's only going to result in me getting paint all over my desk here in a second. Since I don't normally bother with the back edge. Okay. And I'm just gonna get all sorts of fingerprints in this now. More than likely. Oh yeah, I've got a good line of paint that I'm gonna have all over my arms now. It's alright. This wood grain that you see is contact paper to try to protect my desk surface as much as I could. Because we learned that lesson from the last desk, where painter's tape that's not supposed to destroy your walls or your surfaces when you peel it up destroyed the surface of the desk and peeled up the finish that was on it, to which is just absolutely mystifying. Like, what? I don't think it's supposed to do that. Surprise, it did. Thought I had a piece of my hair stuck on there for a second. It was just a pencil line that I didn't fully erase. Now, you can put another layer of gesso on your pre-gessoed canvases if you so choose. If you want it to be a little bit smoother or whatnot, that's up to you. I rarely add another layer of gesso to an already gessoed canvas. I mostly got the gesso for when I'm painting on wood. Because I have some wood shapes. Some different sized. Did I get it? I don't know if I got it. There was a fuzzy. There's gonna be fuzzies. I don't know why I'm trying not hard to get rid of them. I had some unfinished wood squares in different dimensions that I was gonna try to paint at one point, and I had the gesso to do a layer on that just so it wasn't quite so thirsty. Because when I do the oil paint on those, it just sucks it in. And like all the medium just goes slurp. Okay, so when we're done, we're not gonna really see this like burnt reddish orange color. Doing this to help lock in my pencil layer so I don't smudge away what's there into non-existence. And B, it'll help me see what still needs to be done And then if I did miss a spot, it won't be like a glaringly bright white spot. Sorry, I'm just trying to pick up the extra drippy wet off of the plate here. It's just not running everywhere. And it's painting stream. My hands are going to be covered in paint. I'm sorry if this offends you greatly. Again, it's me. It's a thing. Just trying to rinse out this brush really good. Tomorrow will be needle felting. Gosh, you can't hardly see the sketch at all on the camera now. It's still there, I promise. What the heck is all over? Okay. Where you can still see the mica powder embedded in this paper towel. Okay, we need a little bit more fresh water now. I'm also giving the canvas a chance to dry. So I might as well. Oh, 1 second. So I might as well clean up a little bit. I probably should not have put this shirt on to paint with. This is kind of a good shirt. Sorry, I had to pop the fan on. I don't have my heat tool out. I'm not really set up to bring it out, so I don't have anywhere to sit it for the 30 seconds I would need to use it, and then it would have to cool down. So I'm just gonna pop my fan on here real quick. So, yeah, how's everybody's Monday going? Looks like middle to northern Missouri, southern Iowa, and a good chunk out of the middle of Illinois is getting some more snow today. There's parts of Michigan as well. I mean, I hope you like snow if you live there. All right, am I dry yet? I was able to see Not quite. Sorry. It'll be back in a minute, I promise. So hopefully everybody's doing okay today. I've just got it popped in front of the fan real quick while this is drying enough to move on to the next step. Because, yeah, I didn't want to have to figure out where the heck I was going to put the heat gun while it cooled down. I didn't plan on using it, so my limited workspace, while a little bit bigger than the previous desk, is still limited. We're almost there. There's just a little bit of shine left on this. Takes a little bit longer to dry in the winter because it's not as hot in here. What's the matter?
Nothing.
You looked like you were on a mission.
Well, I just finished setting up my
You have the timer going?
Yeah.
You looked like you were heading for the door with the way you were like... It looked like you were purposely going outside. I'm like, why are you going outside? It is gross out there. Alright, let me turn that off because it's cold enough in here. I don't need any help being more cold. Okay, so I think we're gonna start... I can barely make that out. Jeez. We saw it a few minutes ago, I promise it's there. I think we'll start with our background. I've not used this color yet. See, that's great when the little plastic doodles just spin right up. I am mad that I'm gonna have to change my paint brand again, though. I'm torn about what paint brand to go with. Like, I don't know. I was like, well, maybe I'll go with Folk Art. They don't have as many colors as this brand does. But I guess it's not quite that terrible of a thing, but... Sorry, this really needs to get shook pretty good. First time use and all that. It's been sitting for a while. Alright, so I'm going to do the backgrounds in Prussian blue. I'm going to do a little bit at a time here. And I need to figure out what brush I want to do the background in, because while it doesn't necessarily need to be a super small guy, I do have some details I have to paint around. So let me grab my vase of brushes. Let's get the poof balls out of there. Bean has not found those yet, believe it or not. I'm sure he will shortly. If only because I am messing around in here. That might be good for outside the small areas. Guess we can use one of the other guys that we've got pulled out for the detail-y sections. Let me put poof balls back in. They're kind of there to hide the rest of the paintbrushes, to be perfectly honest. Alright, let's see. Who do we want for this endeavor? So I did clean this from the dog. Alright, so we're gonna pop on in here. Oh, this is gonna need a couple of coats. just due to the fact that this shade is a little streaky. Yeah, like, I don't know what brand I want to swap to next. I've used Apple Barrel in the past, but it is a little thin and it would require a few coats. I was thinking of going with folk art, but then I saw on their website they've got a bunch of colors discontinued, and I don't know why. So I'm a little concerned about that. And I could go back to Liquitex, I guess, but their paint is so expensive. I mean, you get a fair amount of it in the tube, but if something's gonna get glumpy and like start to dry in the bottle, I'd rather it be a cheaper paint that I didn't spend that much money on than like a $5 to $6 tube of paint minimum. Like, that's painful. Like, I don't know about this. And it's been a while since I've used Apple Barrel, so I'm not sure if their quality has gone down at all, or if it's the same. Sorry, I thought I was seeing a fuzz in there. And I very well might have been. Or maybe it was a slightly longer hair in there. Either of those is a distinct possibility. But like on the Americana, some colors only really needed 2 coats and we were good. 3 at the most. The Anita's was the worst, where some colors needed almost like 6 coats. And that was just a bit ridiculous. Like, I don't even think a coat of white paint under that was gonna help. I think it was just that paint. And Anita's doesn't exist anymore. Hobby Lobby bought them out. And I think slapped their own house label, potentially, on top of the Anita's. Now, I don't know if it's the exact same formula. It might be a little bit worse. I didn't try it. And I was trying to read some reviews on CraftSmart, which is Michaels' house label for their craft paint. At least it seems to be their house label. Most of their stuff is Artist Loft, but I think as far as the acrylic craft paint goes, I think it's a them brand, not a independent. I could be wrong about that. Just what I am thinking is going on there. Haven't really done too much research into it. I'm sure a quick Google search would tell me, but I wouldn't be surprised. Um, I was starting to read the reviews and it was like, oh, this paint's great. This paint's great. And I was seeing photos of stuff that people made that they posted with their review. And I was like, that's not so bad. Um, and I'm like, well, these are the 5-star reviews. Let me see what the 1-stars say. Because sometimes that's where you really get to the heart of the matter. Like, why did you rate this 1 star? Is this a stupid reason? And you're just not familiar with how this acts, or is this a legitimate concern? So, I started reading them, and some of the reviews said sweepstakes entrances next to them, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what that was about, but okay. They are 1-star reviews after all, so it's not like they were sucking up in their review. So let's see. The majority of the 1-star reviews were talking about inconsistency with the paint consistency. And I was like, oh, that's a legitimate thing. Now, I have seen some shades of this paint, the consistency of them be a little bit inconsistent. I've had a couple of them be kind of like squeezy butter thick, and then, or like squeezy mayonnaise thick maybe, and then other ones be like real runny. And I was like, okay. And then people were talking about and showing images of how streaky some of the colors were. And I'm like, okay. I mean, that was a darker purple that you were using. So the darker shades tend to be a little more streaky. So we've experienced that in this brand. But some of them were like, yeah, like this was water with a dash of paint in it. And I'm like, that's pretty concerning. That's pretty weak. Um, like even Apple Barrel wasn't that bad. So I'm like, Apple Barrel is cheaper than Folk Art, so I don't know. I don't think I can get Apple Barrel at Michael's. I think I'd have to order the Apple Barrel direct. So it's something to think about. I am painting in my background first because if I'm gonna attempt to give these lights a little bit of a glow behind them, I'm gonna need that background in first. So that is the reason for this. And this color is definitely going to need a second coat as far as I'm concerned. So I went with this Prussian blue because it kind of felt like a cold winter color. And I'm thinking about flicking some white on top of this for snow when I'm done. Oh, I never put the hat on. Shit. All right, you know what? we're a little busy, so I'll probably leave the hat off of this one. And if we have time to do the wreath, then I'll add the hat on that one. How's that sound? I mean, I could have added it in, but it's going to affect how everything else is laying at the moment, and I forgot to add it in twice. So I guess my brain's like, no, you're good. You don't need it. And I don't know if I'm going to use that other paintbrush that I pulled out after I went to all that trouble to pull it out. At this point. I swear, I don't know if I'm trying to focus on the end of this paintbrush and I'm seeing a slight double hair, or if there's a hair that's sticking out slightly longer than the rest of it. It's driving me insane. It's very possible that it's just a mislengthed hair. It does happen, especially on the cheaper brushes. I don't know if I would call these slightly cheaper brushes. I was expecting a little bit better quality from Arteza, but I guess it can happen. I mean, I've seen it happen in other brands of brushes. But yeah, do travel carefully out there today if you are getting some weather. I'm glad we had no plans to go anywhere today. And I'm glad that the mother-in-law and her sister had enough sense to stay put today and not try to go into Fayetteville or Missouri to see one of their other sisters, because the accidents have been reported a fair bit because they didn't put anything on the roads that I'm aware of. Now, RDOT may have put something down on the interstate, maybe, but they really weren't expecting very much from this, so they may not have. And you know, if it's ice, all bets are off anyway, so. And it seemed like we were getting quite a mix earlier. So when my mom first got up, she said it was doing something very hard. She said it was sleeting. I don't know about pure sleet. It might have been a mix. We often get grapple, which looks like the teeniest, tiniest little white pom-pom snowflakes that come down. Just because of the way the atmosphere is here a lot of the time. So it'll just look like these tiny little, like, grains of snowballs falling from the sky. That's the only way I can describe it. And I saw evidence of that out there when we ran the dogs out real quick. of course, His Majesty was very unhappy with us this morning because we didn't venture out anywhere. We have to go around the banked turn, which might have been slippery. We've seen plenty a car and tractor trailer slide down that at times during some storms. And we didn't know if the walking paths were going to be slippery. So the husband and I did not want to fall on our asses and hurt ourselves. And we didn't want the doggos to be slipping and sliding and hurting themselves. Especially not the wobbly old man. So he got to go out front for a few minutes, which did not please him, as he proceeded to tell me off after we came back in. For quite a bit. Well, you can see the light string standing out pretty good here. So that's kind of fun. I didn't want to go with black, so I mean, there's going to be black on the flamingo to begin with, so it just felt like maybe we go with just like a cold dark blue, right? I'm not sure if I switch brushes to get this edge here, if the bristle texture is going to be noticeable. And every, different brushes have different bristle textures, so don't come at me with that. You can see a difference, at least with these paints, like these types of paints that I'm using. Sometimes, like maybe one set of brushes will have that one rough hair in it, and it'll drag a streak through it. So I'm not sure. This is a much stiffer brush here. I am currently upside down with this piece, so don't panic too much there. I do purposely have it upside down at the moment. That is a much stiffer brush. Can definitely see a difference in brush texture. For sure. Like so much so that it doesn't want to come out of the brush. Come on now. I shouldn't still be seeing blue paint to come out. I hardly used you. Why do you have that much blue paint stored all up in there? Okay, well, now we have the answer to that. Yes, it is going to be a different brush texture. This brush texture is very soft. Flamingos, their nose is in their beak here, and you can actually see through it to the other side. So I'm going to try to get that with the background color. Now I might end up grabbing a different brush to do the top coat. Or maybe I'll just stick with this. I'm not sure if I want to do the entire background and then come in and do coat number 2. Or if I want to do coat number 2 as the areas are drying. Okay, I'm going to do a quick maintenance rinse. I haven't done one on this guy yet. And Prussian blue is very powerful. These were white bristles on these detail brushes from Arteza. And so it definitely stained them. I don't care that it stained them, but just so you know, this is a very strong color. I guess I should get this little outside edge here. Like this section that's right up against our cord here in our lights. If I didn't come back and smooth it out, so it's a little extra thick there, it looks almost black. Now I might paint the edges with that other brush, just because it'll be on the edges and it won't matter so much to the front. Okay. So if I can like kind of take it over the edge there where that other brush texture won't matter so much, then we'll be looking pretty good. All right. And that pulled into there. So, I mean, you're starting to see our sketch come back here. We're starting to pluck it out of that background. I mean, it was still a little bit visible. To me, at least. I'm not sure how well it was picking up through the camera. Well, you can kind of see it. All right. Get all of that. So I'm just kind of like trying to go back and forth a little bit there. And outlining everybody. Again, I want to try, and I don't know how well it's going to work, but I'm going to try to put a little bit of a glow around our lights. And I just have the basic red, green, blue, and yellow for our string of lights. Like nothing too crazy. So I don't have a lot of different colors to try to squeeze in there. The only thing I'm probably gonna really overlap the edge with is probably just the cord. Like I'm not gonna try to stick a light up there. I mean, I could have tried to put one here, but might have been a little overkill at that point. I am seeing some sections that I've missed here. Maybe I should have left it white because then it would have looked like snow. I'm still not 100% sure I'm gonna do the snowflakes. I'm just kind of thinking about it. Guess I could use that wash brush maybe to come in and get these larger sections. Did I put that back in the container? I think I did. Did you let him back out?
Yes.
Huh?
I thought I did.
I don't know. He's not bothering anybody, so.
Yeah, no, he's hanging out on the guinea pig cage.
Okay. I thought he had gotten sick of the pigs because he hadn't been in there very much. Oh, that's a tight space right there. Right there. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, that's supposed to be blue, so, Might have to pull out one of the super tiny brushes. To get that particular space. I know this is splotchy and streaky. We're not gonna leave it like that. Trust me, my brain would not allow that to be a thing. It will be getting another pass here. Possibly with a different brush. Kind of depends. Alright, I've got to I don't know if this is small enough. Well, it's gonna have to be, I guess. I could have pulled out a liner brush to really get in there, I suppose. So before I try to grab a different, bigger brush, to attempt to fill in everything else that's big. I'm going to try to use this smaller guy to at least cut in. So that way I don't have to worry too hard about messing anything up. Probably am going to do a maintenance rinse here soon. Just to make sure we're not getting too much paint built up in the brush. Because we don't want to have that mess to try to get out. I don't have any actual brush cleaner. And no, these bristles were not blue when we started. They were stained a different color. Not quite this shade of blue. Okay. Just gonna keep on going here. I know it's kind of boring just painting in the background at the moment, but it's all part of the process. I mean, if you wanted to freehand the string and the lights in, you could have painted the background first. Or you could have painted the whole thing the background color and then sketched in with like a white charcoal pencil or like a really light watercolor pencil that would kind of melt in with your acrylic paint, but I don't have any watercolor pencils. And